Testing 1, 2. All right, so we are live. Hi, guys. This is Donnie Rouse. So, this episode is about slowing down to get there faster. It seems like an oxymoron or a weird paradox to say, well, I have to slow down in order to get to where I want to go faster. How does that work? That is what we're going to discuss here, because what I want to tell you is that it is that state of tension that is actually preventing you from moving forward, from preventing you from making bigger strides in your life. So without further ado, here we go. Hi, guys. My name is Donnie Rouse, and you are listening to the podcast, One Life. Slowing down, the fastest way forward. How do you live your day-to-day life? Do you live in a state of tension, or are you in a state of relaxation? If you're in the state of tension, how does that equate? Like, how do you move about your day in that state? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel like you're constantly rushed? Do you feel like you constantly have to be somewhere? What I want you to understand as a result of listening to this episode is that it is that erratic state, that state of tension that is preventing you from going after and doing the things that you want, preventing you from the life you want to live, preventing you from having the emotions you want to experience. And the reason being is because when you're in a state of tension, everything's tight, your muscles are tight, and all of a sudden, your heart rate is increased. It is stress. It actually starts to break down your body. But what happens when you're in the opposite? What happens when you're in a state of relaxation? Now, all of a sudden, you're able to think clearly, able to devise plans and methods and actions that'll move you forward, as opposed to just cycling through the day-to-day emotions that you would if you were just in that tense state. So first, before we move on any further, let's kind of get an idea as to where are we living? What is our day-to-day experience? Like, how would you live day-to-day? Do you wake up in the morning? Do you feel like this tension? The alarm clock buzzes. All of a sudden, you wake up a nervous wreck because your alarm clock setting is probably one that literally jars you the first thing in the morning. And as a result, you're already late to your day. So you start rushing out the door. You grab that cup of coffee that you don't even enjoy because you're just trying to slug it down because you have to be at work and you're late. And you're probably getting stressed out right now because of the pace and the cadence that I'm speaking. Is that you? If it is, don't beat yourself up. There are some rituals that you can put in place that will actually make it more enjoyable, that'll slow you down. But first, you have to become aware that you're even living in that space, that is your norm. So this way we can change it. So where are you living day to day? And when you're living in that pace, that state, how does time go by, right? Do you feel like you get more done when you're in that tense state? Or do you feel like maybe the day goes by and you don't even know where it went? And then lastly, what would the effect be about making some rituals that will intentionally slow you down and get you to relax? This all follows the premise that I believe that life is meant to be enjoyed, that there is no putting things off. I mean, I do that when I travel the world, but I also make the moment, the ritual when I have coffee in the day, and I take breaks throughout my day sometimes. Sometimes I get caught in this frantic mindset. But my intention is to set breaks in the day, so this way I avoid this hyperactivity. And I'm able to put focus and attention on the things that I know that will bring me joy, the things that I find fun, the things that I know that will move my life forward. So let's go to tension. How do you wake up in the morning? I was going through a period of time, and it still comes and goes, where I literally feel like it's hard for my body to settle down at night as well as in the morning. I would wake up in the morning, and all of a sudden, let's start in the evening. I would go to sleep at night, and I would just feel like there was energy pulsing in my body. Now, at first glance, you might be, well, okay, Donnie, you work in coffee, cut back on your caffeine. Well, the caffeine may be a factor. It wasn't the caffeine that was causing this tension, these erratic thoughts in my mind. It was that my mind was just super hyper active, and it was always busy thinking about things, worrying about what people would say, like the decisions I would make, how other people might respond to that. I was putting everything outside of myself. But then I started really, really getting into that. But I was doing meditation at night, but it would be like a 10-minute meditation. And I would go to bed and not really feeling any effect from that meditation. The past couple of weeks, I actually extended that meditation, and I started doing a half an hour in the morning and half an hour at night. As a result, I started sleeping better. I started waking up feeling more refreshed. My mindset during the day was more of focus, more of relaxation. Now, I mean, there were other rituals that were happening during the day, like the coffee ritual I was just describing to you. I was making it a point to take the moment when I had the coffee. I like to have coffee alone. Usually, the first one in the morning is me alone. So I like to do that in the morning because it kind of gets settles my energy and it says, "All right, what do I want for today? How am I going to spend today?" And so the last couple of weeks have been amazing in terms of the focus that I've had, in terms of the actions. It's not this hyperactiveness where I feel like I'm always have to get going in order to get that. I always have to be doing. That was a race. It was more like, you know what? I don't need to feel rushed. I could take my time. And knowing that I don't need to get a million things done to move forward or to advance in my goals. I could literally do a couple actions, and those actions were enough. Right? Our minds tend to chunk things into one too many. Whereas, when we have a few things, it's easy. We know exactly what you have to do. When you start to pile on more things, all of a sudden now you don't know what to focus on. And that alone, it brings you some tension. So I started doing these meditations. And like 2 nights ago, I was getting tense again. And my mind was very busy in in the activity as I was doing the meditation. I was like, oh my God, this guy's voice is annoying. And I literally was spinning. But then I realized, you know what, this is just my mind getting busy again. So then being aware of that, I just focused on my breathing, focused on the tone, the voice, and what was being said in the guided meditation. And as a result, I was able to bring myself back to my center and get a great night's sleep. So what do I tell you? What do you take from the story that I'm telling you? And I'm not, you can meditate. Meditation might be part of your daily practice, but it doesn't have to be. What my intention for you by listening to the podcast is to understand, well, where are you in your day? Like, are you feeling that tense state where you don't have time for anything? Because again, that tense state, it's what's giving you the illusion that there is no time. Like, haven't you had a period where you felt extremely relaxed? And as a result, all these things were going on, but you just seemed to flow with it. Things seemed to progress, and it was effortless. That comes with setting intention. That comes with setting the rituals in your day to give yourself those breathing spots. And that is what I want you to start to think about today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your life. Like, what are those moments that you're going to carve out for yourself? And it doesn't have to be, all right, I do a half an hour meditation. It doesn't have to be a half an hour. I can get that same effect by literally a 5-minute coffee outside. Just by being out in nature, seeing the sun come up, seeing, birds chirp, squirrels crawl on the ground. And all of a sudden now I'm grounded in my day and it gives me a different energy. Now, I will note that it is important for you to take small breaks like that, even if it's like a minute, right? If you say that you can't afford a minute in your day, like a minute in an hour, then you have to stop right there, because that is what's, again, creating the stress. But even if it's a minute a day, just literally to step outside or to look out a window and just to take a few deep breaths and just slow your mind and slow your body down. What you'll notice is that all of a sudden you start to feel life again. You start to think differently about what it is you want for the day and what part of yourself you're bringing into your day. you start to feel life. That's that in essence, you start to feel life again. So let's rewind back. Again, the intention of this podcast episode was for you to just literally start to get acquainted with how you're living your day to day. Or if you're feeling tense, if you're feeling relaxed, awesome. But if you're in that state of tension, how is it reflect in your day? How does it reflect in your life in terms of the emotions that you feel when you go to bed at night? You feel tense, like, oh my God, and you're anxious because you have to do it again. And then lastly, how would it feel to have just a few moments, knowing that you planned it in advance in your day, that can give you just a sense of relaxation, a sense of connection with yourself? And what do you think that would add to your day? Now, the assignment, those are the questions to answer, but the assignment, what I really want you to do is to put it into practice. For today, maybe you have a ritual where you do a cup of coffee in the morning, afternoon, and maybe even the evening. I don't do the evening, but maybe you do. Take the moment when you're having that sip, just bring some intention, bring the ritual to it, where you say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sit outside for a bit, and literally it will just be me. We all need to recharge our batteries. We all need to go inward for a little bit, and sometimes just to appreciate the beauty that's around us, right? If you're living right now, life is a blessing. If you're living right now, you should be grateful. The Sun Guru said something that I thought was really, really fascinating. He says, you come into life with nothing. So every day that you're alive, you're living in surplus. Whether you lose money in the stock market, lose your job, whatever may happen, you are still, the fact that you were alive, you're living in surplus. It's only when you die that you go into the deficit, that you're in the negative. Isn't that true, right? How does that mindset just change the way you feel about life, right? Everything you want comes from the state in which you bring into your day. So coming from a state of relaxation, you open up the possibility of being able to create something different than you would if you were just living each day in that constant state of tension. So I hope this episode inspired you to take the moment today. Maybe it's with Rouse Coffee, in which case I know you'll enjoy it. And I know that just the richness and the flavor of the coffee is one of the things for me. Like, the richness and flavor of it is one of those things that actually pulls me into the present moment, right? Because now all of a sudden, all my senses are focused on this cup of coffee. I like to do small cups, like anywhere from a couple shots of espresso to like maybe 5 ounces. But now all my experience is focused on that. And I'm so savoring that cup that it brings me into savoring the moment. And that is what it's all about, right? It's about bringing enjoyment to your life. It's about doing the things that bring you joy, being unapologetic. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody to do the things you want to do. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody and it's good for the world, go for it. This is the essence of the episode, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the podcast by visiting the website www.donnyrouse.com. Again, www.donnyrouse.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you will take this. I hope it will change your life and that it will open up the doors to a life of passion. Remember, you only get one life. Live it. God bless, and I will see you again soon.